Hi everyone, I'm Kariba Divine and welcome to 12 News in Focus. Every week we take a look back at some of the great stories brought to you from our 12 News journalists. On today's show, how a Valley High School built a winning robotics team without the proper funding. And then coming up a little bit later, changes are happening at downtown's First Friday event, what you need to know if you're planning to visit. But first, a long-awaited life-changing promise is finally delivered to a Navajo woman.
She's overjoyed. This is next to a miracle for her.
78-year-old Victoria Benali never thought she'd live to see the day a promise was finally delivered. Navajo advocate Angelita Nez was there.
She's ecstatic. I went to go see her and she told me, she says, it has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and it has a stove. You know, she was just ran and raving about everything that she has.
Things many take for granted, but for Benali, they mean everything. For most of her life, she's lived in a one-room shack, no running water, and only recently connected to electricity. Now, a quarter-mile away, sits a brand-new modular home.
Delivering 84 modular homes to the Navajo families in some of the most remote areas.
Sarah Slim is the executive director of the Navajo Hopi Land Commission. She says funding from the American Rescue Plan Act allowed for the purchase of 84 homes for elders in need. Benali lives in a remote area near Preston Mesa. Getting the home to her was anything but easy.
The first attempt failed because of the road conditions. As I mentioned, you need a 4-wheel drive to get out there.
Rugged terrains, shifting sand. Still, the team pushed forward. It took heavy machinery and months of work just to clear a path.
She's just counting her blessings and she's thanking everyone and appreciates everyone that has made this a dream come true for her.
But there are steps before she can move in. No running water yet. Electricity still needs to be extended.
We are all working together to make this a livable place for her, hopefully within the next year.
81 other Navajo elders in need have received homes as well. A dozen more could be on the way soon.
She's very deserving, a very beautiful Navajo woman who has lived in her situation without any complaints. She just kind of accepted what was there for her.
Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
For the past 4 years,
It's been good. It can be pretty stressful, but it's been a good experience so far.
Anthony Ilk is focused on academics.
I mean, my best subject would be history.
A senior now at ASU Preparatory Academy in Casa Grande.
I have 16 days until I graduate school day, so that's what I'm counting down towards.
His biggest lesson of the year is that hard work pays off.
I started applying to colleges probably September when ASU came. That was the first school I think I applied to.
Ilk applied to 37 colleges, got into almost all of them, and landed $2.7 million in scholarships, many full rides.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking. I mean, I think that, compared to other people, I didn't realize how much, how big of an achievement I did, but I like to think of it as just my work paying off, and I worked really hard for it.
He's taught me resilience and perseverance and the grit that it takes to make a difference in this world.
English teacher and mentor Drew Sullivan worked with Ilk closely during the college process.
He's been doing this on his own and essentially has been so motivated that I've never seen anything like it.
But Sullivan says it's not just about the numbers, it's about the person.
My man Anthony, it's hard to put into words because he has been one of a kind and I have not had a student like him ever. And so I'm gonna miss him next year, but I know that clearly he's great, capable of amazing things, and he's going to be successful wherever he chooses to go.
Which next fall will be at ASU, where he'll be the first in his family to attend college.
So that's something I want to do, not just to prove to myself, but to, my family and my future kids that, even though I didn't grow up in a family that necessarily went to college, that it's something that, you can still do.
And as he focuses on his future, one thing is clear, it's just as bright as the work that got him there. Jay Cunningham, 12 News.
In Phoenix, color is everywhere, and it's more than just art, it's a way to connect.
Artwork is similar to music. You don't have to speak a certain language or have a certain background to appreciate color and line work and look at something and say, hey, that looks cool.
That's what drives Jesse Perry, also known as Mr. Downtown Phoenix.
I've done close to 200 murals across the valley and some out of state as well.
His work inspired by the desert and the beauty of the Southwest.
From the different colors and life and animal and just a lot of the different fun that happens in the desert.
It's not just about what you see, though. It's also about how it makes you feel.
I want it to inspire happiness and bring a smile to people's faces.
In December, we met Jesse as he worked on a city grant-funded mural with residents at St. Vincent de Paul, a nonprofit supporting people experiencing homelessness.
I hope that the residents who have been here interacting with it, experiencing it, get to create a core memory and generate that and carry that with them when they leave here.
Just months later, he says that's exactly what's happening.
I've been getting a lot of emails and a lot of photos of people in front of the murals.
Now he's bringing that same mission closer to home in his neighborhood near Osborne and 16th Street, transforming this alleyway connected to a canal
There was broken glass and it was becoming dangerous.
into something new.
To better the space and to clean up after it, to remove the weeds.
At the same time, he's also adding some color.
So this one is going to be our selfie spot. So we've got some really fun little wings that we're going to be able to do. The goal is to paint the entire alleyway and basically create an alley gallery that people can feel safe walking down any time of day.
A work in progress, one wall at a time, with one goal.
I just hope they feel a sense of pride in their community.
Reporting in Phoenix, Maria Stobbs, 12 News.
And coming up, a new digital water tower and how it's revitalizing a city here in the Valley. Stay right here.
The program at Great Hearts Glendale Prep is like the little robot that could. It's a small program that's built real success over the years. The students took on the funding problems themselves and they put the mechanics of community support to work, filling the gaps to launch them onto a national stage.
Writing code, printing parts, calculating ergonomics, all fundamental for the robotics club at Great Hearts Glendale Prep.
Make a design really quickly and then keep improving that design throughout the year.
Like many schools, they have an extra problem to solve. Build a strong STEM program without strong funding.
It's challenging to keep it running just because it requires constant effort every single year.
But finding creative solutions is what gets their gears turning.
Robotics teaches you adaptability.
Students taking control, reaching out to sponsors and donors to fund new tools like a laser cutter to take their designs to the next level.
We're able to come up with an entire robot design within a day, build it in the next day, test it out in the third day, and realize all the mistakes they had made and redo that within a week.
They channeled that same tenacity into their tech.
Its name is Hekebolos. It's Greek, it means sharpshooter.
The Metal Mustangs built,
We can shoot from anywhere.
tested,
Constantly on the mechanical side, it would shift and then it would be off.
and rebuilt their robot again and again, turning trial and error into a winning formula
We were able to perfect it and now it works flawlessly.
that won the state robotics championship and earned them a spot at Worlds.
I think if we work hard and we prepare enough, then we'll be able to go in and have fun and do some damage.
Funding the trip as critical as refining their robot. So the team is stepping up again, organizing sales, family game nights,
Fundraising is definitely the biggest hurdle that we've had this year.
leaning on the community to complete the formula that gets them onto the next stage to take a shot at a global opportunity.
This is pretty cool too. The team even pays it forward. They've created parts for other teams that don't have the tools that they've been able to buy. In the meantime, the Metal Mustangs head to Houston at the end of the month for those World Championships. So we'll all be watching and rooting them on. I'm Nohe Lonnie Graff in the studio, 12 News.
The year in water is going to be ugly. Lake Powell, Lake Mead, the Colorado River, they're all way down.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us.
During a webinar early this month, the Colorado Basin River Forecast Center said they're predicting only a fifth of the normal water runoff will make it to Lake Powell from April to July.
Tons of melt last half of March, and we're ended up with less than 20%, 25% of normal snowpack conditions.
And snow is where the river water comes from. Less snow, less water. Water experts say Arizona could have to cut its water use even more.
If we have another year like this, or even an average year, if we don't have a fantastic year of snow, and there's really no good reason to expect a fantastic year of snow, then we can expect much, much deeper cuts in the year to come.
Tom Bishotsky, the director of the Department of Water Resources, says the feds are close to announcing a plan.
They would take about 1 million acre-feet of water and move that from reservoirs above Lake Powell into Lake Powell. That water will stay there, it won't move to Lake Mead.
Which means, Bishotsky says, Lake Mead will go down. And when it does, that'll have impacts in other places, not just water.
Maybe by the end of the year, Mead will be down to elevation 1035. That's an estimate. I think you lose about 80% of the hydro generation when you get to that elevation.
That's right, down 80%. Bishotsky says the 3 states that use power from Lake Mead will have to make it up somehow. Bishotsky says probably by buying it somewhere else. But at least that's not forecast during the hottest part of the summer. Still, that's all a temporary fix.
These upstream reservoirs are a lot smaller than Lake Mead and Lake Powell, so they only have so much that they can deliver out, and they're not all at 100%, and really it's a 1-year thing.
A permanent fix is nowhere close. The 7 states that use the Colorado River water have stalled in negotiations over how to divide up the water after this year. Bishotsky says they're still talking, but not exactly negotiating, and any agreement could end up in court. William Pitts, 12 News.
Near the corner of Grand and 83rd Avenue
I hope they look up and they say, wow, that's really cool.
stands a water tower. Does it hold water?
It does not. Well, let me change it. It holds digital water.
That's filled with images.
Things that represent who Peoria is.
Things that Mary Lou Stevens says makes the city great.
We saw this great opportunity to create this 360-degree visual representation of why Peoria is so unique.
The idea for the 35-foot tower came 3 years ago.
We've been talking about revitalizing downtown now for a number of years.
And is a modern twist to what once stood nearby.
And it was actually right over here on Washington Street in Grand.
More than 130 years ago.
Peoria was a farming community. They dug a well because they needed water. And a few years later, that well became a water tower. And it really became a gathering place for the community. Now we're bringing downtown back as a place where people can come, experience some fun, some joy, some opportunity to connect. So yes, it is a homage to our past, but it's really about our future and about what this community can be.
A community full of history, beauty, and life.
So you'll notice on the water tower there are beautiful scenery of Lake Pleasant, which is in Peoria. A lot of people don't know that. Our open spaces, our trails, our public art. You'll see cotton up there. We had big cotton farms in Peoria.
The tower officially turned on April 7th and is already making a splash.
I see a Peoria that's coming alive. I see a Peoria that I'm proud of.
A symbol of the city's past, this digital water tower now spotlights its future.
That's what I hope they see, is that it's an investment in the community.
Welcoming all who drive by it. Jay Cunningham, 12 News.
And coming up, how a recharge room is helping first responders stay healthy. Don't go anywhere.
If you're driving through Camp Verde, you might notice something a little unusual. Cones, caution tape, and a security detail for a duck. It all started before sunrise when Deputy Jaden Jenkins and an officer in training were out on patrol.
I was trying to get the crusties out of my eyes while he was driving, and then out of nowhere he says, well, there's a duck in the road.
What started as a sleepy shift quickly turned into a wildlife standoff.
No, she was not moving.
Turns out this wasn't just any duck crossing, she was guarding something. Hidden in the nearby brush, a full nest of soon-to-be ducklings and one very protective mom.
First thing I did was pull out my phone, took a picture, and then I had to FaceTime my son. He loves ducks too.
Instead of moving her, deputies called in wildlife experts who confirmed this wasn't a sick bird, just a dedicated mother doing what moms do best. So deputies did what they do best. They protected and served the duck, blocking off part of the road, calling in help from town crews, and giving this feathered family a safe place to grow.
It kind of protects her, keeps her in, and obviously there's some cutouts so she could still crawl up underneath.
And if you're wondering why she picked a spot near the post office, even deputies aren't quite sure.
Maybe it's their logo because they got an eagle. Who knows?
The whole thing is now taken off online, racking up attention as a rare feel-good moment.
Ducks are cute, It's a good, feel-good story.
And for Jenkins, it's personal. Yes, that's a duck tattoo. And yes, he's ready to provide traffic control when those eggs hatch.
I'll be out here with all my lights on, escorting those little ducks across the road.
Until then, the message from deputies is simple. Slow down and give mom some space.
We want everybody to respect nature. Don't approach wildlife, leave them alone, let them do their thing, and that's the best way that we can leave it for our children as well.
The deputies say it could take about 28 days for those eggs to hatch. They're not sure how far along they are. Several people in town claim that this mama duck was here last year doing the same exact thing. We're in Camp Verde. Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
You get a lot more bodies, but you get a lot less revenue.
Mark Hester with Formation Brewing says First Friday was causing more problems than it solved. There have been violent incidents at First Friday in the last few months, the most recent on March 7th. Right after that First Friday ended, a fight broke out near Roosevelt and 8th Street before midnight. Phoenix police fired pepper balls to break it up.
My staff actually locked all of my doors and stayed inside because the people all made a beeline into Taco Cello, which is my neighbor, and all that gas was just dissipating.
And a few minutes later, a shooting nearby. Hester says First Friday on Roosevelt isn't what it used to be.
Rivalries, you get your groups that don't like each other, and this is like the meeting ground. I like to compare it to West Side Story without the singing.
It just seems like every First Friday it's ending in some type of catastrophe.
Across the street at Straw and Wool Hat Shop,
welcome in, guys.
They're ready for a change, and they're getting one. Downtown Phoenix and the Roosevelt Row Community Development Corporation say they're shutting down parts of First Friday. The Arts Market street closure and the vendors, all gone indefinitely. Both of them putting out a joint statement that says, in part, after listening to community, business, and artist feedback, Phoenix First Friday on Roosevelt Street requires reevaluation. And the next few months will be spent working to refocus and recalibrate Roosevelt Row's contributions to Phoenix First Friday.
It's disappointing to know that the vendors won't be able to come down like they used to, because that's how this all got started. That's how First Friday got started.
That is how First Friday started, an event to get people to come to Roosevelt Row, spend time and money. But this is what Roosevelt Row was left with for now.
What is First Friday? I don't know. I think us businesses are going to have to get real creative.
Before recharge rooms.
Wake up in pain pretty much every day and sleep medication to sleep at night.
After recharge rooms.
I don't wake up in pain. I don't take sleep medication. It was a huge benefit for me.
A 33-minute long circuit of red light therapy, sauna, cold plunge. This is adding healthier years to first responder lives.
I utilize it every day. We encourage people to use it as often as possible.
Every day, firefighters come in contact with toxic chemicals, whether it's out on calls or in their gear. And this equipment helps reduce the effects.
And that's something that we think about, smoke and poison that we deal with. EV vehicles, that just adds a whole new concept to there as far as poison in the air. So something that we can utilize back at the station that helps eliminate that stuff, that's just gonna prolong our career, that's gonna allow us to live longer, that helps our families, that helps our firefighters. Like, it's a win-win.
Recharge rooms are popping up in more public safety departments across the valley, and it all started with business owner Rich Ganley, who donated 3 recharge rooms to Gilbert back in 2024.
Why do wealthy people and elite athletes get these type of programs? Why not our heroes?
Rich says those who are a part of the pilot program, over 70% are sleeping better, over 80% are experiencing less chronic aches and pains, and 90% say they have less stress and anxiety.
You get into this type of job, you don't have to die younger. You don't have to have more cancer. You don't have to have more heart attacks. You don't have to have 70+% divorces. You can have a happier, healthier life.
So after hearing all the benefits, obviously we want to get recharged as well. So they're letting me go through the circuit. Let's do this.
It is a 10-minute station. There'll be a grounding mat, full body red light immersion while you're wearing these Hulis Pro headsets. And these headsets play music, so guided meditation, while stimulating my vagus nerve.
What does that all do to your body?
So what it does to your body is it, A, is really good for your ATP production, your cellular energy. Gotcha. And sports uses it to reduce inflammation, okay? Speeds recovery.
All right, so now we have 20 minutes in the sauna. to help detox the body.
As our bodies heat up, your heat shock proteins kick in. It's really good for your circulatory system. It's good for purging, sweating, detoxing.
So typically they have this sauna set anywhere between 140 to 150 degrees. And what's really cool about it too is it's not just red light. They can have multiple different kinds of light that do different things in this sauna.
When you're done with the shower, you climb in and you get into cold water. Woo! Yeah.
How cold are we talking?
Well, this one we set at 45 degrees.
We're supposed to be going in for about 3 minutes. Let's do this. It's nice and chilly. Okay.
It reduces inflammation, helps with recovery, right? It also helps your endorphin system, dopamine, serotonin, feel good, neurological benefits of like a 250% boost for like 2 to 3 hours.
Joe, when did it get to a point where you actually started enjoying the cold plunge?
So when you realize how good you're gonna feel when you get out, it makes it so much easier to get in.
How long have I been in here for?
You've been in for 10 seconds.
Don't stop it.
I was in the United States Marine Corps for 9.5 years. I was a 0311, which was infantry. I was a ground pounder or a grunt.
Joe Worthy's service included a couple deployments to Iraq, including the first Gulf War.
We landed up here in Saudi Arabia and entered into Kuwait over here. We were there when Saddam Hussein bombed the oil fields. So we stayed under the oil fields for days. Rained oil on us. The smoke was just intense. You really couldn't see in front of you.
After his service, Joe started a home inspection company and wanted to give back to veterans.
I knew that self-employment was a good avenue for veterans. I wanted to give veterans the opportunity to be self-employed. And home inspection is perfect for that. We have to be very detail-oriented.
He's trained service members to be business owners. Now, a twist of fate has Joe advocating for veterans in another arena.
Last December, I got diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic colon cancer.
His second bout with the cancer.
It was service-connected because of the oil fields, the nerve agent pills, the burning of equipment and documents and all the other things that we did.
So while he battles the cancer, he joined forces with the Veteran Cancer Network advocating for veteran health.
This year alone, approximately 40,000 or more service members will be diagnosed with cancer. We're trying to make sure that we're pushing that screening out there to all veterans as early as possible. As soon as you get out of the military, get screened. It's a blood test, that's all it is.
And thanks everyone for watching. And just a reminder, new episodes of 12 News in Focus premiere every Friday on 12+. You can also catch past episodes on the app. All you have to do is download 12+ on your TV devices and you can watch it all for free. I'm Kariba Devine. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.